What's up, everybody? It's your boy Hokage here. Welcome to the video. Today we're going to talk about the 66th episode of Boruto. So now, before I start reviewing it, I just need to say something that's very important. After the ending song, there's a bit of the episode, and I'm not referring to the episode preview. You have that at the end of every episode, but they literally added like a short scene that's, from the actual episode. I don't know why the Boruto series keeps doing this. This is, I think, the third time that they did this. I remember episode 34, they added a short scene of Toneri after the ending. Then I remember when Sasuke entered Kaguya's Ice Dimension, they did the same thing. And now this is the third time. If I missed something, I'm sorry. But anyway, I literally don't know why they keep doing this. So anyway, if you missed that, go watch it. It's not too long. It's like, 20, 30 seconds long, whatever. And come back to this review. So anyway, without further ado, let's start talking about this beautiful episode. This was the final episode of the versus Momoshiki arc, and it honestly feels like a closure. It feels like an ending to an arc, and honestly, everything was just executed beautifully. It's like episode 65, the writers decided to give us the best fight of the series, and then when it comes to the 66th episode, they decided to give us some of the most satisfying interactions in all of Boruto. Now, let's just start dissecting some of the most beautiful moments of this episode. Obviously, at the start, you have everybody coming out of Sasuke's portal, and you see this beautiful bonding moment between the Uzumaki family and between the Uchiha family as well. And it just puts a big smile on your face. It was just honestly really, really enjoyable seeing how, seeing Hinata tearing up for Naruto, seeing how happy she was when she saw him and all that. It was truly beautiful, as I said. But anyway, after that, we have the opening, and anyway, the episode kind of officially starts, so to say. Now, Boruto, at the start of the episode, apologizes to Shinki's team, to Shinki specifically. And this is very important because it just shows how much Boruto progressed during this arc. Obviously, for the majority of this arc, he was struggling mentally because of his issues with Naruto and stuff like that. He was, thinking about the ninja tech, whether he should use it or not. At the end, he fell for it. And obviously, he was very sad because of it. And he managed to overcome everything. And now he's kind of atoning for his sins, I guess, by apologizing. And, when you see such growth in the character, it makes you feel proud as a viewer, if that makes sense. It was really cool that Yodo actually stayed to, kind of talk with Boruto for a bit, because obviously when Boruto apologized, Araya and Shinki, they just kind of left, but she kind of stayed for a bit and, said something very random. It's a small detail, but I really, really appreciate it. I overall really like her character. I also really like her character design. She's like, really interesting in terms of personality, also her powers and all that. So I really hope we're going to see more of her in the future. But anyway, after that, we have a scene which foreshadows a lot. We see, obviously, Shikamaru, Sasuke, and Naruto talking about everything that happened. And at one point, somebody says they might come in the future again or something like that, which really tells you that, in the future, we're going to have more Otsutsuki members coming to the Earth. And probably, Naruto, Sasuke, Boruto, and the others are going to be the ones who are going to protect the Earth and all that. So, I just can't wait to see, the future Otsutsuki members. Obviously, we don't even know if they're going to be more powerful than Momoshiki. We don't even know if they're going to have the same personality as him. Because, obviously there's something messed up going in the Otsutsuki clan, right? There's a reason why Kaguya stayed on the Earth, right? Yes, you could argue, she started liking humans. But I'm pretty sure that, if everything was nice in her clan, she would just come back. But no, there's something messed up going there. You see how it's normal for them to, I guess, eat each other when they need power. We saw it when Momoshiki pretty much ate Kinshiki. So I'm wondering if when the future Suzuki members come, are all of them going to be affected by this, stupid traditional thing in the Otsutsuki clan? Because obviously there's some dark stuff going there, happening there, right? So I wonder if somebody similar to Kaguya is gonna come, if somebody who's kind of, I guess, a bit more smart comes and potentially starts, I guess, liking humans or something like that. Like, you can make so many good plot points there. You can introduce so many interesting characters. But yeah, we're gonna have to wait to see that. Obviously, we still have Urashiki. He wasn't killed off in this arc. So I wonder what his goals are, because obviously, yeah, he's an Otsutsuki and all that. I'm not going to repeat everything I said throughout this arc about him, but the point is, we don't know his true motives, we don't know what his goals are, and we don't know if he's eventually going to, I guess, be a good guy or a bad guy. I mean, when it comes to the Naruto franchise, it's nothing is black and white, right? You have so many shades of gray, and I think I already said this in one of my episode reviews. So it's not like he's either good or evil, right? That's kind of stupid, but we'll see. Even Momoshiki, I said this earlier in this arc. It was like stated that Momoshiki was dispatched by the clan, to get this remaining chakra or whatever. So it wasn't that he was this one-dimensional villain who just came to the earth in search for power. No, he was dispatched by the clan, and I'm pretty sure that we're gonna get some type of backstory from Momoshiki in the future of the series. Now, I'm not gonna, talk too much about this because I have a separate video planned for this. I don't know if I'm gonna release it this week or next week or maybe the week after. But as I said, I have a video planned for this because I think there's more to Momoshiki, especially now that we saw him talking to Boruto. We don't know if he's gonna appear again in the future, if he's gonna, I guess, communicate, like, if he's gonna talk to Boruto or something like that. As I said, many mysteries. But yeah, the point I'm trying to make is the scene where Sasuke, Shikamaru, and Naruto are talking about the Otsutsuki foreshadows a lot. And it was funny, there was this great character interaction, like a dialogue moment, when Naruto tells Sasuke he can stay a bit more in the village, spend some time with Sakura and Sarada, right? And Sasuke's like, you're not the one to talk. And I'm just loving these small details, bro. Anyway, after that, we get a very, very symbolic scene. And I think that there's a high chance that quite a few of you missed this. Or maybe it's just the way I see it. I could be wrong. But the Shikadai Boruto scene is very, very important and symbolic, and let me explain. So before we saw the train scene, right? You see Boruto with obvious, Metal Lee was there, Iwabe and Denki. It's just nice that, they're giving a bit of dialogue to those characters, because obviously as the series progresses, they're going to be less and less relevant, which is normal. They're side characters after all. But, it's just a nice touch to the episode when you have a couple of these nostalgic characters from the early parts of Boruto talking, I guess. So yeah, anyway, as Shikara and Boruto look at each other, there's this transition, right, from that scene to the train scene. And let me tell you why this scene is so symbolic, in my opinion. So obviously, the first episode of any series marks the beginning of the series, right? That's like the most obvious thing ever, right? In the first episode of Boruto, we see Shikadai and Boruto on a train, if you guys remember. And now, 65 episodes later, in the 66th episode, Boruto finally got his quote-unquote ninja way. He finally he finally managed to overcome all the problems he had with Naruto and, his self-esteem issues. And in this episode, he pretty much says, this is my story. And this moment, the versus Momoshiki arc, it symbolizes the beginning of Boruto, not as a series, but beginning of Boruto's true self. So the fact that we see a train scene is very symbolic, because obviously, as I said, the first episode of the series marks the beginning, right? Technically the beginning, right? We see Shikara and Boruto there, but this is the real beginning. And I said this a couple of days ago on Twitter, the Boruto series has just started. And I'm not even joking. Now, you have two types of people. You have those people who say the same thing like me, but they refer to the first, I guess, 50 episodes as garbage or something like that, which is completely stupid and ignorant. The first 50 episodes were very important for establishing the worlds, the characters, the character relationships, and all that. So yeah, I'm not saying that the first 50 episodes were trash. When I say that the Boruto series has just started, I mean that what I'm trying to say is that the true Boruto just started. We had this character, this protagonist, Boruto Uzumaki, struggling for so long, not only because of Naruto and stuff like that. I mean, the start of the anime was clearly shown to us that, just because he's the Hokage's son, all these kids look at him as this spoiled brat or something, stupid like that. So it's not just, his relationship with Naruto, but as I said, the true Boruto just started, and that symbolic scene of Boruto and Shikadai on that train, I just loved it. And overall, the interactions between Shikadai and Boruto were done really, really nicely in that episode. It really, the only thing you can say is friendship goals, really, to be honest. It was really funny how they were both apologizing to each other. It really shows that they're both good people. And, there's also something that, in my opinion, is huge foreshadowing as well. It's when Boruto said that he's going to become an even greater shinobi than Naruto. And it's really satisfying seeing Boruto so motivated, right, after everything that he went throughout this series. And at one point, Shikadai says something very interesting, which I agree with. Basically, as Shikadai and Boruto discuss how, they said that they're going to take their own paths, they're not going to do the same thing like their fathers. They're basically doing the same thing. And what does this mean? This actually connects to what Sasuke said a while ago in the anime. He said the soul of a shinobi remains the same. And it's really true. Like, I don't know, somebody might want to become the Hokage, somebody like Boruto might want to become the Shadow Hokage, but at the end of the day, you have the soul of a shinobi. You want to protect everything that's close to you. You aim to be a better human being and all that. So, it's, this series is just beautiful. This Naruto world, the Will of Fire and all that. Those terms, that's why Naruto is my favorite series, and Boruto as well. When I say Naruto, I'm referring to the Naruto franchise. But enough of me fanboying for a second. After the train scene, we get a little, I guess, closure on Shinki's team. They're leaving, right? Shinki thinks about how, he thinks about Boruto going to that dimension, even though he knew that he couldn't win, right? Now, I don't know what information Shinki has right now. I'm pretty sure that he knows that Boruto wasn't the one who actually defeated Momoshiki. He was just the one who, gave the final punch, I guess. I mean, it was a Rasengan, but you get what I'm trying to say, right? But like, still, it's not about that. It's about the attitude. Everything that happened to Boruto was just so embarrassing. He cheated in front of everybody. But he still, had the guts to go to Momoshiki's dimension. And now, obviously, Shinki was worried for no reason, because Gaara literally tells him, yo, I didn't let you. That's why you didn't go. And plus, it was kind of different, Boruto's circumstances, because Sasuke kind of called him and all that. But obviously, Shinki can't know all of that. But anyway, Gaara was, there to calm the situation. At one point, Kankuro roasted the shit out of Shinki. I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, it's a really, really nice closure, and I can't wait to see more interactions of Shinki and Boruto in the future of this series, because obviously Shinki has some issues. That's quite obvious. He needs to be a little bit more mature, and he kind of has to relax a little bit in life, I think. But yeah, we'll see. Now, anyway, we get a scene of, Sasuke and Boruto talking, and it pretty much, the episode lets us know that Sasuke saw the conversation that Momoshiki and Boruto had, meaning that he, probably saw the Jogan, I guess. Now, it's not confirmed because, in the manga, when Momoshiki gave the prophecy to Boruto, Boruto's Jogan didn't activate. That's probably due to the fact that at that point, the writers didn't even know what they were going to do with the Jogan. But here, the Jogan appeared. And obviously, in the manga, Sasuke knows about the seal, meaning that he knows about it now. But there's the question, does he know about the Jogan? That's something that I'm really interested in. Obviously, way back, I'm talking, I don't know, between episodes 10 and 20, I think. I could be wrong, but anyway, I remember when Boruto was training with Hanabi and he tried to tell Naruto that he has a dojutsu. Naruto didn't believe him. Later on, Naruto, when he was talking, to Hinata's father, he was like, I at the end of the day, I trust him, right? So, like, he kind of trusts Boruto that, that Boruto has some type of dojutsu. So I'm just wondering if Sasuke knows about the Jogan. He probably said it to Naruto, but then again, there wasn't any indication of this in the manga. So, yeah, I really wonder if Sasuke saw it. I mean, I'm assuming that he saw it because, after all, he has the Rinnegan and he was the only one who saw the convo, right? And he kind of warned Boruto. Because of the fact that he got the Karma seal and all that. And by the way, the Karma, that's the name of the seal. It got revealed later on in the manga. I just accidentally said it, but it's just a name, it's not a huge spoiler. Anyway, Boruto leaves, he tells Sasuke, when you come back, let's train more and all that. Overall, a very, very satisfying scene. Also, Boruto keeps Sasuke's headband. And, at one point, Sasuke, I think, says, that's the proof that you're my pupil, or something like that. And I'm like, people who wrote the dialogue of this episode, I mean, not only the dialogue of this episode, the dialogue throughout Boruto is just on another level, but it's just beautiful, bro. Like, do I have to say something else? And on top of all of that, you have Sarada, coming next to, she comes to Sasuke, right? And she starts talking to him, and she asks him about what he talked about with Boruto, right? Sasuke pretty much says nothing too special, right? And then she tells him about, a special dinner that's gonna be tonight, right? She mentions Sakura, just seeing Sasuke with his family, and after what he went throughout Naruto Shippuden, and then when you see something like this, it just puts a smile on your face. At least that's how it is in my case. But anyway, she even mentions how she wants to master fireball jutsu, like she wants to perfect it. I don't remember the exact term that she used. And you see Sasuke casually smiling, because keep in mind, Sasuke doesn't smile too often. So it really shows you the situation that all of these characters are in right now. After defeating Momoshiki, everything is so happy, and happy. Everything is so positive, right? That's what I'm trying to say. It's gonna last for some time, but then again, obviously in the future we're gonna have more Ototsukis. Obviously we have the car organization from the manga. If you're an anime only, you probably don't know much about them, but you'll see in the future. But yeah, for now, as long as it's positive, happy and all that, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying this slice of life feel that the 66th episode brought us. Anyway, we even get Orochimaru in this episode. He talks to Mitsuki, obviously. Even earlier in the anime, he told him that he shouldn't use Sage Mode in front of everybody if he wants to stay here or whatever, because clearly not many people know about this Sage Mode, right? And anyway, fuck all of that. One thing that I want to focus on is that Orochimaru tells him, come home from time to time. I want to see that growth or that change that you're going through. Obviously because of Boruto and because of his other friends, which really shows that Orochimaru actually loves Mitsuki. And, even when Mitsuki's backstory was shown, I think it was episode 40, 39, or 41, something. Yeah, I think it was one of those episodes. Doesn't really matter. But I think I even said it back then. Orochimaru actually loves Mitsuki. Obviously, Orochimaru's parents died when he was young, which was probably one of the main reasons why he wanted to, I guess, master the immortality technique. I mean, it's not a technique, you get what I'm trying to say. That's why he wanted to be immortal and all that. I'm not trying to justify everything Orochimaru did in his life just because he lost his parents when he was young, but it's obvious, especially now when you see how much he cares for his own child. And I was really, really happy to see this. The sun-moon relationship between Boruto and Mitsuki was mentioned once again in this episode, and I've been getting a couple of complaints from people throughout this arc, and I think I might make a separate video about this. I'm not really sure, but anyway, I'm gonna I guess kind of mention it a bit here. Basically, when Mitsuki decided to take his own path after a couple of experiments that Log and Orochimaru made, he saw Boruto in that scroll. I don't know who put Boruto's picture in that scroll, if it was Log or Orochimaru. I think it was Orochimaru, because Orochimaru knows that Naruto is a good person, so obviously his son is going to be a good person as well. But at that point, Mitsuki saw Boruto as his hope, and that's why he's following Boruto all this time, and that's why he observes him so much. He wants to make sure if Boruto is his son or not, and I'm pretty sure that he kind of realized that, yeah, Boruto is his son. And obviously it's going to be interesting later on if Mitsuki kind of not necessarily takes his own path, because he kind of already did it after all of those experiments that Log and Orochimaru did, but is he ever gonna, I guess, not even disagree with Boruto, because that can happen from time to time, but is he ever going to majorly question, is that even a word? But anyway, is he ever gonna question Boruto's way of doing things? But I'm talking about something big, okay? I'm not talking about some random dialogue with Sarada or something like that, but like, is there ever gonna be a conflict between the two? That's something that I'm really interested in. But so far, I'm really loving Mitsuki's character, and I think he's very well written. That's the point I'm trying to make. Anyway, let's talk about a certain scene that probably made all Boruto shippers happy, myself included. And that was when Boruto said that he pretty much doesn't want to be Hokage and that he wants to help Sarada and he wants to protect her. That's a huge scene. Obviously, you see Sarada blushing. Earlier in the arc, Boruto blushed at Sarada. Now she did it. Now, obviously, you have these blushing scenes in anime, in Boruto as well. It's a normal thing in anime, and it doesn't always have to mean that it's in a romantic way, but just the way this scene was done and how Boruto says that he will protect her, and just because I personally see a lot of chemistry between Boruto and Sarada throughout the series and some foreshadowing signs that they're gonna end up together. I mean, just remember when Mitsuki said, I think you two make a good couple. But anyway, the way I see it, this blushing scene is huge. That's how I see it. That's my interpretation. You might disagree with me, but I think that was huge. And it's a big step towards the final goal that all of us Boruto shippers have. And that's Boruto and Sarada ending up together. But we'll see. We'll see. If they don't end up together, and if, the person that ends up with Boruto is... If the fact that Boruto ends up with somebody else makes sense, I'm not gonna be mad. I'm just gonna be sad because my ship didn't happen. But like, why am I saying this? If it doesn't happen, you don't need to hate on the series. If it's done well, that's what I'm trying to say. If it's done in a stupid way, you can't complain. You still can't shit on the entire series because romance isn't the main focus of the series. But still, anyway. That's Boruto's ninja way. I mentioned this briefly in my episode 65 review, how his ninja way is going to be revealed here, and it's finally here. He wants to become a ninja like Sasuke, and this goal is actually very deep. It's not only because Sasuke is cool, it's because he pretty much wants to protect everybody, but in a different way. He doesn't want to do it like Naruto, because he pretty much realized how important the village is to Naruto and all that. So he pretty much has the same goal as Naruto. It's just he's gonna do it in a different way, like Sasuke, where he won't be forced, I don't know, to follow all these rules. Because if you think about it, Sasuke is roaming around the world all the time. He's in your typical shinobi, and I guess Boruto sees himself in a similar position one day. Yeah, it's just beautiful seeing Boruto's ninja way. And again, the fact that he pretty much has the same goal as Naruto to protect everybody, just from a different perspective, I guess, it also connects to the point that I made earlier in this video, and that's the fact that Sasuke's sentence, the soul of a shinobi, remains the same, applies to pretty much everybody in this series. And that scene where Boruto says that he wants to be like Sasuke, it's an iconic scene. Anyway, there were a couple of gag moments there, like funny moments, I guess, when Sarada blushed, and then she was like, Mitsuki and I were talking about your eyes and all that, and then she kind of leaves or whatever. It was funny, it was cute. I really enjoyed that scene. Anyway, after that, after Sarada leaves, Mitsuki leaves, then Boruto is left there. I think at that point or a bit later, he mentions that this is his own story or whatever. At one point in this episode, he even looks at the karma seal. I said this in my episode 65 review. We actually saw it in the 65th episode. It's just his hand was really damaged, so you couldn't really see it. But I guess this is the first time we, see it properly. Yeah, that's the seal that you see in the first episode, the one that spreads throughout his body, like over his right side of the body, I guess. To conclude this episode, the writers decided to give us another super satisfying moment. Now that I think about it, this episode has so many satisfying moments, and I don't even know which one is the most satisfying and which one is the least satisfying, because everything was just so satisfying. Okay, I should really stop repeating that word so many times in 20 seconds. But anyway, we see that Naruto decided to take a day off, I guess. But obviously he had to finish all that paperwork, right? Anyway, he buys a cake for Himawari and Boruto. He pretty much apologizes. I don't know if he literally said, I'm sorry that I wasn't there, but just the fact that he bought the cake kind of implies that he apologizes, right, to Himawari and Boruto for not attending their birthdays. Obviously, at that time, the Otsutsuki ruins were discovered, and it was a top-class secret mission. Naruto pretty much couldn't say anything about it, which is why he had to go there by himself. It was a really, really it was a really sad situation, right? It made Naruto look like the bad guy, but it was just the circumstances. But anyway, everything is solved now. He apologizes to everybody. We see a lot of great interactions. We see Hinata kind of being angry at Himawari, Boruto, and Naruto, but then she was kind of like joking. You see Naruto punching Boruto, and that is a nice callback to the scene where Naruto punches Minato in the stomach. That was just so symbolic. It was just, it was a nice parallel, right? Like, I already see Boruto's kid punching Boruto in the stomach if we ever get a third generation. But yeah, that was really nice. Boruto did it because he wanted to see if it was a shadow clone or not. And yeah, at one point, he kind of implies that Naruto is getting a bit older, which was a great gag moment. And anyway, the following day, we see that both of them are kind of late because they were sleeping for so long because they apparently played video games. I thought that was hilarious. And you just see this fist bump at the end of, it just puts a great closure to this arc. And finally, both Naruto and Boruto got some massive character development. For Boruto, it's understandable. I mean, he's getting character development throughout the series. He's the main character. But like the writers did such a good job because Naruto, all of his development happened in Naruto, and you would think, okay, he's just gonna be a random character, but no, even he is kind of flawed, and his flaws are getting fixed in Boruto. Well, at least this flaw that he had, that he kind of never really thought enough about Boruto's feelings. And the same goes for Boruto. He didn't think enough about Naruto's feelings, so they kind of both ended up developing, progressing, or whatever. And, just that fist bump at the end is just, as I said, puts a really nice closure to this arc. And, the episode ends. After that, we see Urashiki. He pretty much says that he should probably do something right now because, Boruto could be a threat in the future, but he decides not to do it, which just confirms the fact that he probably has some of his own goals, motivations, I don't know, ambitions or whatever. Not going to talk too much about him because, you never know when it comes to Urashiki. I really can't wait to see how much involvement he's going to have in the future of the series. 10 out of 10 for me for this episode. The versus Momoshiki arc ends, in a beautiful way. This episode was a banger. One of the I think objectively one of the best episodes of the series because everything was just so good about it. Every single interaction. The soundtrack was also good in this episode. Honestly, this was a beautiful arc. I think I should make a separate video talking about this arc as well. Yeah, I'm gonna save that for a future video. Anyway, that was your boy Hokage. It's written this link in the description below. Also, if you're new to this channel and if you're into Boruto, consider subscribing. Link to my second channel, forgot to mention this, is also in the description where I talk about other, on that channel I talk about other anime and manga. Anyway, that was your boy Hokage, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.